Since childhood, Jin Jongdo had little interest in sports. Instead, he found solace in his comics, found himself yearning to be one of the charismatic characters from these comics. Then, one day, Jin stumbled upon a captivating game that engulfed him. He discovered a natural aptitude for the game, winning numerous championships. And then, a cataclysmic event struck the city. Dungeons emerged across the city, unleashing monsters. In response, a remarkable group known as mana users emerged, wielding swords and magic. These mana users embodied the essence of the main character Jin had always aspired to become. Jin dedicated 8 long years to becoming a mana user. However, could only muster 7 mana. His skills in communication, gaming, and perseverance proved to be of little use in combat. Returning home disheartened, Jin found Winry Makina, an agent from the universe, awaiting him. She explained her presence as a gesture of respect, accompanied by a gift. Jin discovered that he was only the second person in the universe to awaken level 3 communication. Overwhelmed, Jin collapsed as Winry transferred the gift to him. Upon awakening, he discovered that the gift bestowed upon him was the Info Gacha skill. Curiosity surged within him as Jin delved deep into exploring its capabilities. To his astonishment, he was handed a golden capsule containing highly classified information, the winning numbers for the upcoming lottery. A day prior, Jin received appreciation from all his guild members for securing a contract with Seeker Young, allowing their guild to explore the newly discovered dungeon. However, Joe Hakre, the hunter, dismissed Jin's efforts, undermining his contribution. Despite the discord, the guild leader handed Jin his well-deserved incentive, providing him with the funds to become a mana user. Excitement filled the air as Jin and his team gathered to witness Yoon Seo-yoon's transformation into a mana user. To everyone's astonishment, Seo-yoon emerged with unprecedented results: 27 mana, 11 talents, and a remarkable primary talent called Saintless. It was finally Jin's turn to step forward and awaken his mana. However, to his disappointment, the results fell far below his expectations, only 7 mana, 3 talents, with his primary talent being communication. Despite the efforts of his guild members to comfort him, Jin brushed off their concern and assured them that he was fine, only to drown his sorrows through a night of heavy drinking. But with this new skill, everything has shifted. Now he can foresee things in the future. Jin craved information, even if it came at a cost. Each gacha pull, draining his precious mana, coughed up useless trivia. Yet, he couldn't stop. Finally, after emptying his mana reserves, the gacha spitting out a golden egg, information on a newly formed dungeon. With a sliver of hope and newfound frugality, Jin reached the cave's coordinates. This wasn't just any cave. It was a treasure cave, rumored to hold unimaginable riches. No monsters, just a test for the worthy. Jin entered the cave, a master of deception, swirled with illusions, threatening to trap him in a web of doubt. But Jin wasn't easily fooled. He activated his observation skill, eyes scanning the phantoms, decoding the true path. With a determined push, he broke through, stepping into a sight that surprised even him. A boisterous pub filled with dwarves welcoming him. In the pub, Jin found himself meeting a group of dwarves. Among them was Giz, who shared the news that they would no longer be fighting humans since they couldn't keep up with the dwarves. Instead, they proposed a fairer competition. Led by Giz, Jin was taken to a room equipped with a complete gaming setup. To his immense surprise, Jin discovered that they would be competing in the very same game he had won championships for, League of Legends. Jin easily defeated Giz multiple times, demanding his well-earned reward. The other dwarves couldn't believe it. How could a human defeat the renowned heavenly kings of gaming? To entice Jin, the dwarves offered him an additional treasure if he agreed to play and defeat each of them. Jin accepted the challenge. True to expectation, he emerged victorious against every opponent he faced. Astounded, Giz snatched the controller from Jin's hands, assessing his stats to unveil the secret behind his seemingly mediocre abilities. As the dwarves probed deeper into his stats, a revelation began to unfold, one that would change their perception of Jin. Giz was left in shock, struggling to comprehend what he was witnessing. To confirm his suspicions, he called over Mikhail, who shared the same reaction. Communication. Level 3? It was unprecedented, even for the seasoned dwarves. They proceeded to explain to Jin the significance of skill levels. While honing talents and skills could lead to achieving Level 2, Level 3 was an entirely different realm. Jin's Level 3 communication granted him a unique ability to create concepts. Giz expressed his honor to meet Jin and informed him that Mikhail would peer into the future to see combat scenarios for Jin, molding him the perfect weapon. The dwarves entrusted Jin with a mysterious weapon yet to be fully understood, along with a sack full of mana stones. Once again, Giz showed his appreciation before sending Jin back. Utilizing his observation skill, Jin began exploring more about the weapon. Although it had the remarkable ability to transform into the shape of any weapon he imagined, Jin couldn't help but feel that it was relatively weak compared to others. Nevertheless, determined and curious, he proceeded to the guild center the next day. Much to his surprise, Choi was the only one present. Choi revealed that he had asked the squad to take a break, knowing well that it was a strategy to distance Jin from Joe Hakra. Confirming Jin's participation in the upcoming expedition, Choi received an obvious affirmative response from Jin. The squad gathers at the mission site, where Choi gives them a briefing. He instructs Joe to let Jin and Yoon take the kills to help them level up. As they venture into the dungeon, they encounter lizardmen. Joe skillfully injures them but only allows Yoon to deliver the final blow and asks Jin to collect the mana stones from the corpses. Despite the guild leader's orders, Joe constantly belittles Jin, not allowing him any kills, which causes tensions within the team. Ignoring the pleas of the others, including Yoon, to let Jin have some kills as well, Joe continues to hog them all. This behavior raises suspicion for Jin. Upon reaching the boss room, the squad asks Joe to let Jin take the last kill. However, Joe not only refuses, but commits an even darker act. He impales his sword into a team member's chest, revealing that he can't let them leave. In the aftermath of Joe's ruthless betrayal, chaos ensues as he reveals the ominous corpse plunder skill, setting him on a path of vile intent. With swift instincts, Jin shields Yoon from harm, questioning Joe's sanity amid the brutality. As Joe unveils his true plan to kill Yoon and absorb her powers, Jin observes with a keen eye, recognizing the gravity of their situation. Jin, displaying remarkable swordsmanship, urges Yoon to conjure a protective mana shield, creating a momentary respite. Seizing this opportunity, Jin, with daring resolve, decides their only escape lies in confronting the formidable lizard boss. As the battle unfolds, Joe taunts Jin with a prolonged wait for freedom after the boss's defeat. However, Jin unveils a cunning twist. He aimed not just for survival, but also to level up. Dealing the final blow, Jin's gacha skill transforms the dire circumstances, granting him the power to extract and utilize skills from individuals in the true universe, opening the door to a realm of endless possibilities. As Joe launches another attack with skill and precision, Jin expertly blocks Joe's attack and checks his stats. Jin discovers that he now possesses Fengxian Lubu's stats, including a mana level of 138 and 16 acquired skills. Undeterred, Joe persists with another desperate assault, convinced that it would be enough to take down even an S-rank adversary. However, Jin effortlessly dodges Joe's attacks and, with a single strike, shatters Joe's sword. Joe's threat is neutralized, leaving Jin in awe of his own capabilities. If he can dispatch Joe so effortlessly, he realizes he might be classified as an S-rank, or perhaps even an SS rank, fueling his curiosity to learn more about the connection, gacha. Jin rushes to Yoon's side, finding her in a gravely weakened state. To his surprise and fear, an unexpected presence reveals itself as Fengxian Lubu, and implores Jin to infuse her with energy. In this moment, Jin has absorbed a portion of Joe's abilities, granting him the skill known as Green Dragon Maneuver. Jin and Yoon finally escape the dungeon. Jin reports the events to Choi. Choi takes the blame upon himself. He should have been more cautious. Jin insists that it was not Choi's fault. Choi eagerly asks Jin to recount what happened after Joe rebelled. To cloak his own powers, Jin fabricates a story claiming that the lizard boss had undergone a spontaneous mutation, resulting in a fierce battle between Joe and the creature, leading to their demise. Satisfied with Jin's explanation, Choi sends him off to rest. In the solitude of his thoughts, Jin explores the depths of his new skill, understanding that he can only summon individuals whom he knows by name. However, he soon discovers that there is a cost attached to this mana. Seeking to increase his mana through the connection gacha, Jin ventures into an empty space. There, to his surprise, he summons Liu Shan, known as the Icon of Incompetence. Jin, initially annoyed with Liu Shan's presence, discovers that Liu Shan possesses the talent of good luck. A realization dawns on Jin. He can employ Liu Shan's luck to obtain valuable information through the info gacha. His hunch proves correct as he receives a golden capsule containing coordinates to another dungeon. To his astonishment, Jin realizes that he himself has created the miniature Jushang through his level 3 communication skill. This explains the abundance of goodwill he receives. Liu Shan reassures Jin that anyone he calls upon will provide their utmost assistance as he is their creator. When Jin returns to work the next day, Choi announces the Justice Guild will be disbanded. Concerned about Jin's future usefulness, Choi inquires whether Jin plans to continue. Jin affirms his commitment, leading Choi to present him with admission documents for the South Korean Users Association Academy. He also confirms that Yoon Seoyeon will be joining him. Choi warns Jin about the Karma Guild, mentioning that Joe was a member. Knowing the unpredictable nature of the guild after losing one of their own, Choi advises Jin to exercise caution moving forward. Jin and Seoyeon meet up and head to the academy. Because the personal attention offered at the guild, many people don't choose to train at the academy. Surprisingly, there is a large number of individuals present when they arrive. The instructor begins the admission test, which involves hitting a bear sandbag and achieving a score of 30 or higher. Unfortunately, 70% of the participants fail to meet this requirement. When it's finally Jin's turn, he feels nervous but attacks the bear. To everyone's astonishment, he scores a remarkable 91, surpassing even the instructor's score. Seoyeon's suspicion is confirmed. Jin is hiding something. Meanwhile, Jin worries if his performance was too conspicuous. Other guild members approach Choi, demanding to know where the saintess is. Despite his refusal to speak, they catch a subtle hint. The following day, Seoyeon and Jin's time at the academy comes to an end as they prepare for their graduation test. Seoyeon is constantly being bothered by guild representatives who are eager for her to join their ranks. Jin encourages her to consider joining a reputable guild, but Seoyeon remains stubborn as ever in her decision. At their table, Kang Haeshik approaches Jin, requesting a spar. Jin declines, but Seoyeon decides to take up the challenge instead. They engage in a virtual mana spar, and to everyone's surprise, Seoyeon emerges victorious. Meanwhile, Kim Sung-tae observes them, his expectations for Jin high. The person who had scored an impressive 96 on the admission test became an SS class user. Now, Sung-tae wonders if Jin's fate will be the same as his. The final test of the academy requires clearing an E-rank dungeon. Seoyeon takes the test and emerges shortly after, having successfully cleared it. Now, it's Jin's team's turn to venture into the dungeon. Instructor Kim Sung-tae accompanies them for safety. Jin takes the lead, leaving Sung-tae in awe of his capabilities, and as they confront the monsters within, their abilities demonstrate a strength that leads Sung-tae to suspect the dungeon might be closer to a D rank. He contemplates the possibility of needing to intervene. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, another instructor realizes that they have been deceived by the Karma Guild. Jin effortlessly engages in a battle with the boss, leaving everyone in awe. Neither Kang nor any of his team members dare to intervene. Alongside Instructor Kim, they watch with amazement as Jin continues to fight. When Jin successfully defeats the monsters, his grateful teammates rush to him, expressing their thanks for his and Instructor Kim's presence, as their lives would have been lost without them. However, just as they are about to leave, the orc launches another attack. Jin narrowly dodges it, but Kang ends up injured. When Jin attempts to strike back, the orc unexpectedly blocks his sword. This shouldn't be possible. In that moment, Sung-tae has a realization. The monster has mutated. While fighting the mutated orc, Sung-tae notices that his connection to the gacha power is fading, leaving him weaker, and he has also exhausted all of his mana, creating a dangerous situation for them. Jin feels his life hanging by a thread, but he knows he can't die at this moment. Suddenly, a surge of power courses through his body, allowing him to wield the dragon killer sword, Blamung, and unleash its full potential. With a decisive strike, he cleaves the monster in two. In that moment, Jin realizes that the bracelet he wears possesses a recovery ability, which aided in his survival. After slaying the monster, he gains some of its abilities, including the Dragon Blood Awakening skill. His teammates look at him with apprehension, wondering if he will eliminate them to protect his true identity. Jin quickly dismisses their suspicions, confirming that he was only at level 2 until this dungeon. This leaves everyone baffled as to how he possesses such incredible strength despite his low level. Outside the dungeon, the officials eagerly await the emergence of Jin's team. When they finally do, Instructor Kim declares them cleared. Senior Seo Sang-hui questions how they managed to clear an A-rank boss-type dungeon. The attention turns to the Orc Lord's War Axe, a rare item that Seo Sang-hui and the Academy's CEO both desire. However, Jin reveals himself as the true owner of the weapon, leaving everyone astonished. The Academy's CEO accuses Jin of being a liar, but Kim Sung-di confirms that Jin was indeed the one who killed the monster. The children are promptly sent to the hospital for examination after witnessing a war cry. Kim Sung-tae updates Seo Sang-hui on the events that unfolded. As they discuss, they realize that Jin may possess a mana consumption artifact, explaining his ability to modify his weapons.
Hey, wait a sec. Are you subscribed? We'll make sure you do, and hit that notification button.
Jin, reflecting on his progress after defeating an S-rank monster boss, realizes that he has only gained 2 levels. He recognizes the need to enter as many dungeons as possible, but wonders how to do so. Just as he ponders this, Seo Sang-hui enters the scene, introducing herself as the task force leader from the Korean Users Association. She provides an explanation for the recent events, revealing that an Academy salesperson fell victim to a dungeon scam potentially linked to the Karma Guild. Tensions between the Academy and the Karma Guild have been building up, and Kim suspects that the attack might have been intended for him due to his father's position as the Academy's director. Seo Sang-hui offers Jin a place in the task force, but he refuses, determined not to repeat past mistakes. Then, Seo proposes an expedition request, which Jin accepts. Seo Sang-hui requests to purchase the orc's axe from Jin, and he agrees to sell it to her. After signing the contract for the expedition, Seo takes Jin on a tour of the association. Han Sang-yuk, a trainee, challenges Jin to a mock duel much to Seo's disapproval. Initially hesitant, Jin agrees to the duel upon Han's condescending remarks. Both prepare their equipment for a virtual battle. As the duel begins, Jin's gaming talents are activated. Han continues to make cocky comments, while Jin patiently waits to showcase his true potential. Jin enjoys playing around with his skills, determined to increase his mana. He summons Yans from the Chromal Kingdom, a superhuman from another universe. This ability allows Jin to bring superhumans from different worlds. However, when summoning Liu Shan through a connection gacha instead of a guaranteed gacha, Jin gains the combo gacha skill. Jin wonders how he managed to summon Liu Shan again, and Liu Shan explains that it is due to Jin's incredible luck and their strong connection. Jin realizes that after strengthening Liu Shan, not only did Liu Shan's stats increase, but his own did as well. His new skill, Combo Gacha, allows him to choose 2 figures from his album to use in battle. It's time for Jin's expedition mission, and feeling unsure, he checks the mission's stats himself. To his surprise, his observation skills reveal hidden information, including the location of mana stones. As he enters the cave, he is immediately attacked by goblins. Jin effortlessly takes them out and heads towards the boss, the hobgoblin. Prepared for a challenging battle, Jin is shocked when he is defeated with just 1 blow. He didn't realize that his stats were strong enough to defeat an E-rank boss in a single hit. However, he quickly collects the mana stones and exits the cave. The official waiting outside is astonished, as it hasn't even been 2 hours. The official suggests Jin join Manhwa if he wishes to participate in more expeditions, as there aren't any more available at the moment. He signs up on Manhwa and calls to join a group, but they already have someone. Disappointed, he decides to call it a day and hands over the mana stones and spoils to the official. While training, he watches the news and sees a report about a dungeon break outside of Osan City. Could it be the same dungeon that the team from Mananet was raiding? He dismisses the idea, thinking that nobody would post a recruitment notice for a dungeon on the brink of breaking. Jin summons Lushan again to pull out the info gacha. Just as he's about to give up after receiving useless information, he comes across a peculiar capsule. To his surprise, he obtains critical info, and as a reward, his info gacha gets strengthened. According to the info, there will be an artificial dungeon break in Gangnam City. He wonders if the previous dungeon break was also artificial. Jin is conflicted. If he tries to stop it himself, he may put his life at risk. If he shares this information, he might become a suspect. However, he decides he can trust Seo Sangui. The info also reveals that if he can't stop the catastrophe, he will receive a reward from the real universe. The next day, Jin takes on the challenge. The members of the Korean Users Association discuss the dungeon breaks, but they are unable to determine the cause. Seo suggests that perhaps someone is breaking them on purpose. Seo suggests increasing the number of dungeon quests and giving them all to Jin, believing that he can handle it. Jin attends his graduation and receives applause for achieving the highest score. Seo Yoon hands Jin a lucky charm she made and prayed upon, wishing he is blessed with good luck. Both Seo Yoon and Kang invite Jin to team up for a dungeon, but Jin has bigger priorities and bids them goodbye. For the next 2 days, Jin searches for the dungeon break in Gangnam City. However, going through every dungeon proves to be tiring, with only 3 dungeons remaining. Unfortunately, these dungeons are owned by guilds and the association, leaving no place for Jin to enter. Just then, Seo calls him and asks if he wants to enter dungeons. Jin requests one in Gangnam, and his request is granted with a schedule for him to enter the following morning. With only 10 minutes remaining until the dungeon break, an eerie silence fills the air. Jin closely watches as 2 officials arrive to conduct the break. Doubt floods his mind, questioning if the user had disguised himself as an official or if the man was genuinely part of the official team. Recognizing the importance of the task at hand, Jin decides to focus on it first. He utilizes combo gachas to summon Liu Shan and Fengxian Lubu. To his surprise, the amulet Seo Yoon had given him starts to shine, granting a significant boost to his luck. Empowered by this stroke of luck, Jin successfully summons General Zhang Fei, the legend. As the dungeon's wolves begin to charge towards him, Jin activates Lion's Roar, reducing their attack power by 30%. Astonishingly, the wolves halt mid-charge. However, undeterred, they resume their assault on Jin. In response, General Zhang Fei chuckles, dismissing them as mere insignificant nuisances. Jin engages in a fierce battle with the wolves, utilizing all of the talents and skills of his summoned generals. Despite seemingly handling them with ease, he realizes that time is running out. The kobolds continue to pour out of the case, and the boss monster has yet to appear. Determined and aggressive, Jin slashes through the kobolds relentlessly. However, he acknowledges that he still has a long way to go, sensing his waning concentration and ability to assess the situation accurately. The general informs Jin that he must depart, expressing concern about Jin's well-being. In response, Jin confidently states that he has no intention of leaving. Once again, he summons the assistance of Liu Shan, obtaining Mordred's sword Clarent, one of the 3 swords used by King Arthur, the King of Britain. King Arthur was killed by Mordred, his own son. He wonders if Mordred will betray him too. As Jin prepares to confront the kobold, he realizes that it is on the same level as him. This battle may be even more challenging and prolonged than he had initially anticipated. Jin discovers that he was mistaken. With a single slash of the sword, he miraculously clears out all the kobolds and shatters their weapons. Mordred informs him that he must now wait before being able to use the power of Clarent again. Just as Jin prepares for the boss to appear, it launches a fierce attack against him, forcing Jin to barely escape. The boss, infuriated by the annihilation of its subordinates, showcases skills that seem to be on par with Jin's. Realizing that time is running out and his mana is scarce, Jin becomes even more aggressive in his approach, determined to defeat the boss within the limited duration of the dungeon break. The battle rages on, but suddenly, Jin is unable to dodge one of the boss's attacks and its sword pierces his abdomen. However, to Jin's surprise, his wounds swiftly regenerate thanks to the Dragon Blood Awakening skill. Jin seizes the opportunity and lands a final blow, splitting the boss in half. Seo arrives at the location of the break, shocked to find Jin amidst the bodies of defeated enemies. Jin informs her that he has successfully stopped the break and asks her to take care of the aftermath, telling her he killed all 301 of them and that he won't share credit. Jin loses consciousness and is swiftly taken to the hospital. During his stay, he checks his stats and is astonished to discover that his mana has increased to 37, indicating that he has reached rank B. Filled with pride and excitement, he relishes in gaining new abilities and skills. Seo enters his room, expressing her concern for his well-being. Jin reciprocates her concern, noticing that she appears exhausted, likely due to staying awake the entire night. Sao bows before him, expressing her gratitude, as his actions in stopping the dungeon break have saved countless lives. Jin politely dismisses her, stating that she would have done the same in his position. Seo starts questioning Jin about the suspects involved in the dungeon break. Jin possesses information about the suspects through his skill, but he understands that revealing this information could potentially make him a suspect as well. Seo asks how Jin was able to arrive at the location precisely on time, to which he attributes it to destiny. Jin then asks if the mastermind behind all this is from the Karma Guild, and Seo confirms that they are indeed the prime suspects. She informs Jin that all the stones and spoils from the previous day await him. As Jin gets lost in thought, he hears a familiar voice. It's Winry Machina. She explains that she is there to reward him for his successful mission. Jin requests to have his mana increased to 999, or to ensure that his mana is not depleted when using skills. However, to his disappointment, Winry dismisses both ideas. Instead, she offers him a ticket that he can use for the connection gacha once. Winry adds the payment option to Jin's stats, leaving him wondering if she will offer any incentives if he pays for his abilities. However, before he can get an answer, Winry abruptly leaves. Later, Seo-yoon visits Jin in the hospital to check up on him. Jin takes the opportunity to ask her if she would like to pair up with him. Expecting hesitation, he is surprised when Seo-yoon accepts without hesitation and quickly leaves to prepare. Intrigued by his new payment and feature, Jin experiments with it and manages to earn 30 tickets with discounts. Excited, he decides to use these connection gacha tickets, hoping to finally obtain a diamond call card. However, with each unsuccessful attempt, Jin becomes increasingly disappointed. It's probably for the best that he can only earn 10 tickets per week, as he realizes he was dangerously close to gambling away all of his abilities the day before. Seo-yoon takes Jin to the place where his loot is stored. As he browses around, Seo informs him that the guild that owned the dungeon, where the dungeon break occurred, has come to meet him. Jin wonders why the guild has come to see him. He speculates if they might have motives to take his loot, but Seo assures him that she won't let them take anything. They meet with a man named Kim Sung-soo, who wants to know the exact details of what happened during the dungeon break and demands evidence, such as surveillance footage. However, Seo explains to him that it's an ongoing investigation, and she cannot provide that now. Instead, Kim Sung-soo proposes that Jin spar with him to prove his power. Jin senses something suspicious and decides to use his observation talent to gather more information about this man. Through his observations, Jin discovers that the man's real name is Seong Donghak. Realizing there is deception involved, Jin asks Seo to bring him to a soundproof room where he reveals his observation talent to her. He explains that the man who came to meet them lied about his name and was one of the individuals present during the dungeon break. Seo cautions Jin against revealing this information to the association since she suspects there may be a spy involved. They return to Seong Donghak, and Jin suggests demonstrating his skill directly. He summons Jaina, who possesses the unique power to reveal the truth in her special Room of Truth, which disables anyone from lying. Jin asks Seong Donghak to state his name, but as expected, the man fails to do so. Jin proposes a challenge to Seong Donghak, offering to let him keep all of his loot if he can simply say his name. However, Seong Donghak sees through Jin's trick and launches towards him with a blade. Seo quickly intervenes, stopping Seong and pinning him down. As she pulls off his mask, the true identity of the culprit is revealed. Seo informs Jin that they will proceed with the necessary imprisonment procedures and interrogate Seong Donghak. Jin offers to assist in the process. Using his info gacha, Jin acquires valuable information on Seong Donghak, uncovering that he had murdered Kim Sung-soo 2 days ago and is a member of the Karma Guild. Meanwhile, back at the Karma Guild, Wan, the one responsible for the dungeon break, reports to their cult leader about losing contact with Seong Sung-soo. They discuss the mysterious individual, Jin, and speculate whether the association is concealing his true capabilities. They question how he was able to be present precisely where the dungeon break was to occur. Ultimately, the cult leader decides to temporarily set Jin aside, despite the urging of his followers to pursue him. Instead, they opt to target Seo Sang-hwei. However, Wanhu has his sights set on Jin. Seo informs Jin that Seong Donghak is refusing to speak, and the association does not approve of using more violent methods to extract information. She also mentions that due to the high value of Jin's loot, a significant amount of tax was charged, which presents an opportunity for him to raise his user rank. Jin agrees enthusiastically. Seo takes Jin to a room where the tests are conducted, and Jang Cholsan decides to personally test Jin. They prepare themselves and strap in for the evaluation. Jin activates his game talent, and Cholsan allows him to make the first strike. Jin goes in aggressively, giving it his all. Impressed by the level of Jin's spear thrust, Cholsan recognizes that not even an A-grade user would have been able to react and defend against it properly, and passes him. However, Cholsan believes it would be a waste to end the evaluation at that moment. The fight between Jin and Cholsan continues, and soon enough, Cholsan begins to suspect that Jin possesses the game talent. Cholsan questions Jin regarding his possession of the game talent, leaving Jin completely taken aback. This unexpected question creates the perfect opening for Cholsan to launch an attack, resulting in his victory in the spar. Cholsan then proceeds to explain that he was able to discern Jin's possession of the game talent because he has witnessed other users with the talent in the past, though unlike Jin, they were ineffective in actual combat. Recognizing Jin's impressive abilities, Cholsan upgrades his user rank to B rank. Afterwards, when Jin meets up with Seo-yoon, she expresses her excitement to embark on an expedition alone with him. However, their enthusiasm is dampened by the unexpected arrival of Kang. Together, the trio ventures into the dungeon, encountering and dispatching the E-rank monsters with ease. Jin notices Seo-yoon's disapproving glares directed at Kang, which causes him to question if he has done something to upset her. As the group reaches the final boss's chamber, Jin begins to provide instructions. However, to their astonishment, Seo-yoon effortlessly eliminates the boss with a single powerful strike, leaving Jin and Kang in awe of her strength.
Hey viewers, subscribe for more.